In the last video, we were just talking about some of the things that were established under Jefferson's presidency with the Supreme Court and John Marshall's as the Chief Justice, their perspective on what the role of the Supreme Court is in relationship to our government and the laws that are passed. Jefferson did something that even he wasn't sure was constitutionally permissible by the president. But France, secretly, all that territory that they had gotten, well, let me go back. Spain, remember when we ended our Revolutionary War, Spain was our ally. And so we took all this land that Great Britain had won. And Spain got all the land west of the Mississippi. We got the land east of the Mississippi to the Appalachians. Well, France made a deal with Spain, a secret deal with Spain, that France was now going to buy all that land back. So they got it. And France at this time in the 1800s, beginning of the 1800s, they had a leader named Napoleon. Now Napoleon had visions of conquering Europe and establishing a new empire, like the Roman Empire. And Napoleon was fighting everybody in Europe. He was attacking countries, he was moving through what we call modern-day Germany, pursuing on to what we call modern-day Russia. And so Napoleon was fighting all these battles, and he had to pay for and supply an army. Well, again, there is weapons and uniform and food and pay, just paying them to fight. And so Napoleon had all this land, and he's like, you know, we're not going to get to America to really settle or use that land. Right now I just want to conquer Europe, and I need some money. So Jefferson, Napoleon kind of let it be known, hey, listen, I got those, millions of acres there. You interested, Jefferson? Because I really need the money for my war. And so Jefferson set a mission over there to buy part of the territory and, kind of to negotiate. Okay, Napoleon, what do you want for the land? We won't give you that much. And so to negotiate. They negotiated. They bought the whole Louisiana territory for $15 million. And the problem was, it was a phenomenal deal for the United States. But nowhere in the Constitution is it mentioned that the president had the power to do that. And so remember, this is just the third president. All these new things are happening in the world, and they have to figure out, well, do I have the power to do this according to the Constitution? So Jefferson buys Louisiana Purchase, and it's this, here's the Mississippi. It is this territory that was Spain's along with the rest of this, and France got this territory in secret back from Spain. They made this deal. So Napoleon has this land and he's running short on money, so he says to Jefferson, I will sell you this. And we bought it for $15 million. And so all of a sudden, with the signing of one contract, one bill of sale, America now has doubled in size. And so we have all this brand new property. And Jefferson is not sure what's in that. Well, what did we buy? We have this land. Is it worth anything? Well, does it have resources we can use? And so Jefferson's like, I got to find out what I did. People are really questioning whether I had the power to do it. We need to see what's there, and hopefully there's some real positive things that will support me purchasing it. So he chooses two gentlemen to lead an expedition, Lewis and Clark, to go study the area, map it out, find out what's there, and bring back samples and things, and let's figure out how the government can use this land. and to become more profitable. So that really shows some problems with his domestic issues. It was with Hamilton. It was with, did he have the power to buy the Louisiana Territory? Now we're going to look a little bit more closer to his foreign challenges, what his problems were overseas. And this is just restating this again. France and England are at war with each other. Down here, in this part of the Mediterranean, is called the Barbary Coast. These countries were at war. We are sending ships and trading. We want to trade with France. We want to trade with the kingdoms in Italy. We want to just start trading with the Austrian. And, you know, we want to make some money. We want to show the world we're a viable country. Well, here's our problem. Along the coast of Africa, Barbary pirates from Tripoli, attacked and captured U.S. merchant ships, business ships, ships that were loaded. So the United States said, you know, Jefferson had to go, contacted his Secretary of the Navy and said, we got to show these countries, you just can't take our ships. I don't know what you think you're doing, but you can't do this. And so the United States is still trying to be neutral with France and Great Britain. But remember, France and Great Britain had much more significant armies. They were much more established. They had much bigger navies. So we could kind of threaten Tripoli because it's a smaller country, and these are just pirates, not their whole government. And we think we could take that. But, so we didn't want to mess with France and Great Britain because these were bigger countries, but we could handle Tripoli. Well, again, like I mentioned earlier, Great Britain kept stealing our ships, taking the ships, and forcing our citizens to serve in their navy. So Jefferson decides, all right, I don't want to go the war and attack route with France and Great Britain because we're not ready to do that. So I'm going to get a law passed called the Embargo Act. And that means, okay, France and Britain, we're not going to trade with you anymore. Where are you going to get your supplies for your war? You take our ships won't be available. You steal our men to serve, we won't have them on ships. There's no ships for you to take. So Jefferson passes this act. And here is your Barbary Coast, and we were going to go to war with Tripoli. We were threatening that. There are some great books that talk about U.S. citizens who were kidnapped by these pirates and what they went through crossing the Sahara Desert with these pirates, being sold into slavery, and some of them making their way back, escaping, making their way back to America. Well, Jefferson passes this Embargo Act to deal with the foreign affair. He's like, fine, we can't control Britain and France, they're taking our ships, fine. We just won't put our ships out there. But what that does is, that completely impacts the U.S. economy. We have not established ourselves well enough that we can start trading with other countries and make it. Our economy was heavily dependent on our trade with Great Britain and France. So this causes our economy to just dive into this very deep recession. There were a lot of U.S. embargo runners who kind of got past the Navy and they were trading black market anyway, but our economy really suffered. And so Jefferson, people were not happy with Jefferson. You touch their money and you're really impacting them. So Jefferson is in office for 2 terms, and the next president is James Madison. James Madison's wife, his name is Dolly, and they were known for being a couple that was very much in love. You can read their letters to each other. There wasn't texting, there wasn't electricity, there wasn't anything. It was handwritten letters. And they were very, very much really a couple that she gave him lots of advice on how to lead. He was a man who was very influential in many ways on the design of the Constitution and how our government was set up. So he was a man of great intelligence. He was known for his intelligence and his perspective. Now, Mr. Madison came up with some challenges, and even though we changed presidents, that we still are dealing with the challenges of trade and how we're going to make money and the war with France and Britain. So, we are now moving to greater and bigger tensions again with Britain. And remember, this is a few years, this is 20 years, 25 years since our War of Independence against Britain. There were many people who lived through that war that were alive during this, and they have no love for Great Britain. And they have no tolerance for them stealing our ships and oppressing our men, the sailors. And so there it begins to be this rumble in the country of, you know, we're done with Great Britain. Great Britain needs to stop, or we will have to take action. So, again, Madison is dealing with many of the same problems that Jefferson did and Adams began to deal with. And the British impressment. We wanted Spanish Florida, but Spain and England were now allies. He needed to secure a foreign market. Well, after this embargo, which got lifted, how do we manage trade with these other countries and get economically strong again? The British Army was also, Great Britain was not really, still pretty sore and angry that we kind of said, we're done with you and we're independent. And they were still using weapons and training the Native Americans to attack us. So as settlers began to move into those states, well today, they are known as Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio, Great Britain was supplying the Native Americans with guns and weapons and training. And so this is going on 10 years, 15 years, and American citizens were getting sick of it. They were, you know, they were mad because of the embargo. They were mad of what Great Britain was doing. And so there were some representatives, Clay and Calhoun, that really said, no mas, no more, we're done. We are done with this Great Britain stuff. It is now time to tell them to put up or shut up, it's war. And so the United States wanted to prove to Great Britain, our independence from you was not a fluke, we earned it. We are an established country. You can't bully us, you can't try to undermine us. It was kind of drawing a line in the sand saying, we are an independent nation and you need to deal with it. And we will look at how the war was fought in the next video.